Another little quiz I have with my students, I said this: suppose in this day and age in the United States of America, where we've had such a flood and proliferation of legislation in the land that nobody can keep up with all the new laws that are being added to the law books every year. Suppose somebody came along and said, hey, we're going to start all over again. We're going to just throw out all the lawyers, all the laws, even the Constitution, and we'll start fresh. But your job is to write the new Constitution. Your job is to write the new Bill of Rights. And the game plan is this: that all future laws in this nation's history will be judged by their conformity to 10 laws that you draw up. So you only have 10 laws to put down on the books. What 10 would you write? How many of you would waste one of your 10 by making a law against coveting? How many of you would include in your top 10 a law that children ought to respect and obey their parents? Most of you would probably include a law prohibiting murder and theft. But would anybody use up one of their top 10 laws by saying that it's an absolute law of the land that no one ever, ever, ever takes the name of God in vain? Ladies and gentlemen, when God wrote a constitution for a national government, that made his top 10. Isn't that incredible? A few years ago, I read an astonishing article in Time magazine about an incident that took place in Maryland. A truck driver had been arrested for drunken and disorderly conduct. And when the police officers came to arrest him, this truck driver was so abusive that they were furious by the time they got the guy to the station house, and they wanted to throw the book at him, so they got him up before the magistrate, and they talked about all the unkind things that this truck driver had said about the policeman on the way down. Now, for the misdemeanor of disorderly conduct, the severest penalty that the magistrate could impose was a $100 fine and 30 days in jail. But he wanted to nail this guy, to throw the book at him. And so he resurrected an antiquated law that had never been repealed and was still on the books of the statutes of Maryland that prohibited public blasphemy. And the penalty for public blasphemy had been another 30 days in jail and another $100 fine. So the judge imposed upon the truck driver $200 fine, 60 days in jail. And this made Time magazine's editorial, because the editor of Time was outraged that in this day and age somebody could suffer the cruel and unusual punishment of paying a $100 fine and spending 30 days in jail merely for publicly blaspheming the holy name of God. We've come a long way. 22 years ago, the word virgin was not permitted to be uttered on the television because it was too provocative and suggestive. Censorship has changed so much in our day that movies may freely use erotic language, scatological language, and blasphemous language, and that's okay. But still, there are rules and regulations for broadcast television that prohibits the use of certain prurient and obscene sexual language. But it is still permitted on the television set to use the name of God as a common curse word. Jesus said, you know what I want you to pray for? I want you to pray that my Father's name will be regarded as holy. He said, then I want you to say, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, even as it is in heaven. So what I want my people to be praying for is that my reign, my sovereignty, my authority as king will be honored and recognized in this world. And that people will do my will on this planet, even as the angels in heaven right now obey my will. You know, Jesus doesn't say so, but I'm convinced there's a logical progression here. I don't think that the kingdom of God will ever come on this earth, or that the will of God will ever be done on this earth until or unless the name of God is revered by His people.